Welcome to Dance Specific Talks. This podcast is made for us dancers, and our goal here is to inspire dancers from all over the world to become better, both on and off the dance floor. We want to provide you with a platform where we dancers can share and learn from each other. So let me introduce to you your host for this podcast, Teaser, and remember as always, by dancers, for dancers.
What's up, party people, and welcome back to another episode of your favorite dance podcast, Dance Specific Talks. I'm your host, Teaser, and this episode is released from Be Fit and Sensual. Today, we are traveling all the way to Madrid to meet a Brazilian dancer, no one else than the Brazilian Zouk artist, Arthur Santos. So what are we going to talk about in this episode? Well, many of you maybe don't know anything about Brazilian Zouk, and that is also including myself. I want to talk about what is Brazilian Zouk and how is Arthur navigating through this world as a Brazilian Zouk artist. We're also going to talk about what it means to be together with another artist, as Arthur is together with the kizomba, salsa, and bachata dancer Sarah Panero, and how it is to be two teachers in one relationship. Now, before we get into this interview, you already know what to do. Subscribe to our Instagram and YouTube, Facebook, and much more. We are at Dance Specific Talks. And there you can listen and learn from all the beautiful dancers I have on this podcast every single Monday at 7 o'clock Amsterdam Central Europe time. I'm releasing a new episode just for you, as we are all dance nerds and we want to get to know these dance artists closer. So now let's get it going. Welcome to this interview, Arthur.
Thank you very much. Thank you. It's a pleasure being here. Thank you.
It's so good to have you here. You are right from Madrid, Spain, right? You are located there.
Right now, yes. Right now, yes. Yeah, I have been living at different places. Now I'm here, and I hope I will stay here forever now.
Well, you are definitely a world traveler, and I don't even know where we're going to start, because you have lived in many places and done a lot of things. So actually, why don't we start with one of the top countries on my list to visit in the world, Brazil. Here we go. This is where you are from originally, right?
Yes, that's right. I'm from Brazil. I'm from a city in the center of Brazil called Goiânia. It's like it's close to Brasilia, like the capital of Brazil, that is in the center. So I born there. Pretty much my whole family is from there, and I can say that I'm the only in the Zouk scene. Mainly, I'm the only international dancer that is from Goiânia that is traveling and working with the dance internationally. Most of people are from São Paulo and Rio. That's where people first reaction oh, you're from Rio, or are you from São Paulo? And nope. I'm from a little bit more in the center. Wow. It's more like a country, you can say a country city, I can say.
And so how do you think that has shaped you, being from another city than most of the other international dancers from Brazil?
Made me different, made me unique, I guess. I have I don't know, everybody kind of came from, and I need to work a little bit. I won't say don't want to express myself in a bad way, but I can say I need to work a tiny harder to get where I am, because I say I have this talking with some of my friends nowadays, and because some people that was from Rio and they always putting oh yeah, I'm good, these people is good, they are good. I'm well, the way I was born and I was created and everything is, if you have all these around you and you at least not good, you should be ashamed of yourself, because you have the best the professionals there. You have a parties to go to. You have things to you are in that environment. So the minimum you can be is good. So and like I have like amazing uh like a dance community in my city too, but like it's a little bit different the way uh the dance, like especially like I'm talking about, especially on the Zouk scene. Yeah, I'm not gonna talk about in general dancing, but more in the Zouk scene. We have to dance Zouk there, but it was very different from pretty much the other people that was already traveling around the world and everything. But one thing that I'm very grateful is because one of my mentors that was his name is Valmir. Uh, he always like taught me a little bit more about the dancing in a way, not the dance as the movement, but like a way of life.
Yeah.
So he always like taught me like this way. And one of the most thing like he taught me like okay, how to make money with dancing, because he said like one phrase for me like you're not gonna make money with dancing with dancing. And I was like and that was a phrase that took in my head like what do you mean like because he said look, it's not just about you be a good dancer, it's a lot more than that, because you have so many good talents, so many people that dance very well, but they don't they get in one stage and they cannot go there. And it's not because they're dancing, it's go a lot of more around character, personality, the way you, a lot of things that involve that. And like he taught me and helped me to shape that since the beginning. And thanks to him, I'm like I'm very thankful. And as well he like introduced me the first steps of each dance. And from there like okay, then I just grew my wings and I flew away. And like I researched for the knowledge and like traveling in all this.
Wow, but it's crazy sometimes how one person can change your life. And in your
Yeah.
case, the teacher was a really big part, and your mentor was a really big part of you getting to where you are today.
Yes, yes. I'm like I'm really I like cannot forget like my roots for where I come from. A lot of things like helped me to be where I am right now. But I guess that first step is the most important one in a way, because all this that I have right now, it's only happened like even like for me be like met Sarah is because of the dancing and the people that I met through dancing, and everything that I lived nowadays was because of dancing, and all that is need to be thanked to him. And of course, like I have like this like I always was dancing since a young age. I always enjoy to dance. In my family, like I always like to go around and dancing. My old brother and my mom used to do like a ballroom, like a Brazilian ballroom when I was a kid. And sometimes I they took me to with them to the classes because I was like didn't couldn't stay at home by myself. So I think like I always enjoy these like dancing. And yes, and I started like in high school was when I started like doing classes because of uh I was one day doing like in the afternoon we have like the physical education, and I used like usually like all the boys we used to do like play soccer. Uh, and I was doing. I remember then I went to the bathroom and was having a jazz class, and then just have girls. And then I looked, and then I asked the teacher, what's happening here? And I thought it's a dance class. And they said, I asked, but it's just for girls. And they said, no, boys too. And I'm like, all right, so I'm going to be here. I don't know why I'm going to be running with a bunch of boys, like sweating, and I can be here. So I'm going to be here. And that was when I like, I really enjoyed so much. And I started dancing like in the high school for fun and all this. And then I remember one day, one of my best friends that was starting doing partner dancing, like a ballroom, he invited me to go to this dance school. He like a João, his name, like, and he like, oh, let's go because we need more men to dance. I was like, okay, let's go. I will give a go. And I remember that when I arrived there, Valmir was sitting on the chair, and João introduced me and like, because in Brazil we have like this, it's kind of, I can say, we call bolsistas. That's like a scholarship in the dance studios. So we have like around I don't know, depends on the school, the style of the school, around 20 people that they don't pay like the I can say how
The
I can say
fee.
the fee,
Yeah.
and then but they need to have like you need to come at least twice or three times per week, and you need to help in each class. You need to be there, and then you have a training. After all the classes, you have a specific training for you. And then I remember I said, yeah, I'm here because they said you guys need more guys. And then he like look at me and said, okay, just go inside and let's see how you go. And one of my first dances, like when I straight away I started, was a Zouk class. Uh, and I remember because there was already like like I was intermediate level or something like this. Some of the other people on of the scholarship like helped me in the corner, but they need to be a little bit rushed. And I remember they're like, what like I cannot follow this, and I remember it was really crazy. But like I fell in love straight away with the whole dance, the whole thing, and I remember that I used to go to like my school, and after straight away went to the dance studio and stayed there for like 5 6 hours each day.
Wow. Because it didn't take a long time for you once you actually started to be involved in the performances and
No,
stuff. It went really fast, like 3 months or something.
yeah, like for me, like when I start, that was like 2007 when I started like on the like the dance partner like a Latin word, and as I was so into it, and I remembered like for me like when the thing like when I get to do something that's like since a young age, I started work when I was 13 because I always have this independence. And my parents taught me this idea of like, if you want that, you need to do something for it and you need to work for it. And I remember like for me, like, okay, he's giving the opportunity to learn for free, but I want a little bit more. So what I can do to the school. So I remember that on the weekends, I went to the school and I said, I can clean the school, I can clean the windows, I can clean the floor, the bathrooms, whatever. But that gave me time to spend off classes with him. And those times was the most important ones outside the studio because there was like when I can say the whole magic happens about how the business, how the community, how things work uh, behind that what we see that is just the dance, the movement, the music, and all this. So and that for me was from everything that I can say that was the best and the most important information that I got from him, and I'm
Wow.
really grateful for.
Wow. And after that, you had a group or something called More Salsa?
No, 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 that was not my group. So what happened
Oh,
was in 2007, I started, and then 2008, I did like a student exchange to Mexico.
that was it.
So what happened? Like my parents are part of a non-governmental association called Rotary. I think it's like a worldwide. They have like a everywhere in the world. So they do like this student exchange. And one of the places that I went was to Mexico. And then they have like three rules, right? So at the time I was 17. Uh, and then they have like the three rules. You cannot do formal work, you cannot date, and you cannot like do drink, do drugs, things like this, right? Like yeah, of course. But as dancing, unfortunately, it's not considered like a formal work. I said, look, I dance. Can I teach dance? And they say, yeah, of course. I'm like, okay, so that's not work, right? Like I could not work as a receptionist or other place because that was work, but dancing not. I was like, okay, fine. But at the time, I was just have a little information about Zouk and the dancing like this. But before that, as I used to dance like a solo, like a axé in Brazilian funk at the time. So I was teaching classes like this. So I was teaching in forró. So I went to the one of the schools there, and that's one of the things that I want to confess here right now. When I got there, I went to this school, but I was with a big conviction who I am. Like, I got there, I'm from Brazil and I'm a teacher and I do this, I do that. Like I was in the scene for many years. But the truth wasn't like that. And then the owner said like, oh cool, in 1 month we're gonna have like a big like workshops in the weekend. So you could do one. And I'm like, cool. Yeah, of course. I can do some Brazilian styles here. So I did like a Brazilian funk, axé, forró, and a little bit of zouk. It was like a 3 hours, and then I share in between, right? And then have like another teacher from tango. There was like the champion on the one of something like from Argentine, sorry, and the other was like one from salsa. There was just one like her first national on the salsa award and everything. And then I'm like, okay, and it was me. And then I did the class, and then I remember they have this woman that was super good, and I was like, wow, you have like you're so good and everything, and well done. And she's like, oh, thank you. And she's super humble. So like, oh yeah, thank you. You should do my workshop. That is next. And I'm like, of course. And she was the one that was the champion, like the national champion on salsa. And her name is Paulina Posadas. She used to dance with like David Zapeda. Then in the salsa world on two, they like won I think 6 or 7 times nowadays, like the world championship and everything. They are amazing. I remember like I did her class and I was like so amazed because what I have from salsa in Brazil and what I really learned there was completely different. Like I mean, not completely different, but was very different because it was like a little bit more the real like thing. And then she told me like, oh well, you're very good too, and we are looking for our company. We need men. So you would like to, we want to be doing like audition. I would like you to participate. And I said, I would love to, but I'm gonna stay here for a year. And she said, that's fine. It's all good. And I went and I got in, but I remember that because in Brazil we salsa when I learned we mix everything in the salsa. Cuban salsa on one, and the salsa was everything like it's salsa.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what. So in my head there was everything because that's what I learned. So I remember she like put a song and said, okay, so dance a little bit for us. And then I would start dancing and then I start mixing and then she stopped. And she said, okay, which style are you gonna be dancing? Cuban? And I look at her and I said, look, I'm really sorry, but I have no idea what you're talking about. And she's like, okay. And then there was when I start understanding. So they did like I learned. I remember we have like the classes during the week. They were like I was doing the regular classes on the weekends. We have like the special training with like a ballet teachers, jazz, and they have like a specific for salsa, physical conditioning, and all this. And then when I really learned about the salsa, and then like I started from zero, and like I really understand about the musical instruments and everything, and I was like, oh, so
Wow.
that's what it is. And then that was when I introduced as well for her a little bit of the Zouk because at the time I really love like already the reggaeton. Like the old school reggaeton. I was like, and I was there everywhere was playing reggaeton. And I'm like, I can do Zouk to that music. And then like I started doing with her. I remember dancing, and then she loved it, like the energy, the feeling, the sensation. And there was like a learning. I remember she was at her birthday. Was like I think she was at the time 21 or 22. She did a big party with all these amazing salsa dancers, and I was like, oh my god, it's so good to be, like around all those people. And I remember that like everybody did the show, and she like, okay, now I'm gonna put a reggaeton song, and you're gonna be dancing with me. And I'm like, what? You want me to do a demonstration right now with you like this? She's like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And then we did, and like that was like was like a terrifying, but was good. Was like amazing experience, and I'm so grateful because uh, there was when I really have like the real connection and understand with the Latin scene.
Yeah.
When I got back like to Brazil I did a little bit of salsa, but as wasn't that big in Brazil, the way like they dance in Mexico, the way they dance in Brazil was completely different, especially in my city.
Mm.
I kind of, you know, left around like a not did as much because it didn't have that much. And people as well used to be a little bit like this from where I'm from, very conservative. So people they don't like to the new or the change or things are like this. They like to go, and I'm always like, no, no, but let's open up the
Let's
doors, let's
open up. Yeah.
expand, like expand. So I kind of have a lot of conflicts with people because of that in a way. But like one thing I learned, like you do what you believe, and if it's good and work, you're gonna have the results that you're looking for. If not, you're gonna know, and then you're gonna need to change. And
Mm.
that's what I have been doing so far until now.
Yeah. Wow, it's so crazy because I can remember how it was for me when I started with hip hop and I came into my first crew and I thought everything was called street dance. And I had no idea that breakdance was something that locking
Yeah,
and popping and
yeah, yeah,
then when I entered as well like the couple dancing scene, I was just like there's something called salsa and there's something called bachata. And
yeah.
then like you move sideways or you move front and back. That was the only difference I knew. So I can really remember that feeling of when you're coming in and you're
Yes,
so green and you have no idea. So wow, that's such a journey for you must have been on such a journey just to
yes,
know. And also like Brazil is such a rich country when it comes to music
yes, yes,
styles and
and yes.
dancing.
And
Just
that's the thing
yeah.
in Brazil, like because we're very passionate about our music and everything. So the salsa, it's people dance, but wasn't that big as like the forró, the gafieira, things like this, like the samba, because that's what like our music, like because people we hear our songs and that's what was playing the radios and everything. So that was what we love it, and that was the thing. And I remember like in this is like from this stage like we learn in the thing in Brazil we learn a little bit of everything. We don't just go in one style. You go a little bit of everything. My mentor, his big passion ever is the Argentine tango,
Mm,
and that became my passion too.
mm,
And I remember that I used to love and I used to dance Argentine tango for like many years. And it's like I even apply some of the techniques into my dances, as the Zouk, especially nowadays. And that was like one of like the dance that I most was into it. Like Zouk, I was dancing because I always fell in love with the music of the Zouk first. The music was always my biggest one. But like at the time, I'm talking about like Nelson Freitas, Keisha, Mika Mendes, music that like was like a Zouk love or ghetto Zouk songs. There's not like what some people think about. The Zouk music, like the Usher, Beyonce. Like no, no, no. This is not Zouk. This is like a R&B pop songs that we can dance into
mm-hmm,
Zouk. So this is
mm,
not Zouk music, and people like I said, like no, no, no. So like that was like a. I remember that feeling there, like the beat, like how everything. I loved how the way it felt, but the dance, kind of my body, I liked it, but like like it was something that wasn't there for me at the
mm,
time, and that like just changed in 2010 when I met like Leo Neves and Layssa. They went to my city to do a workshop, and they are from Rio, and they already was traveling around, and then they come with something completely different than what I was taught, and then what I was like, this is Zouk, and like I was born in something like this, and when they I saw them, my head is like, whoa, wait a second, this is a lot more than I expecting, and that's what from there, when my journey with Zouk started, and I'm still until now.
because for me, that doesn't know like anything about Zouk. Like there's Brazilian Zouk, but like is there other types of Zouk that because Brazilian Zouk is for me the most famous one.
Yes, it's the
So
thing is like it's like we can say the Zouk. We have the lambada. We had the lambada back in Brazil. There was like even like a is part of our culture. The dance, like the lambada, the music, and everything. And even the music from lambada, they have influence from the Zouk songs. The Zouk is like the French, like usually they sung in French, and like the Zouk was born in the islands of Martinique and Guadeloupe.
Mm-hmm.
And like I have this big band like Kassav, that was one of the biggest ones that have like the Zouk. So I say to people if you go the dance, like the roots of Zouk, Kizomba, and Zamba, they are dance pretty much very similar because they come from pretty much the same family, just the pace, the groove that they dance that is different. What happened with the Brazilian Zouk, that is a name that we start using more to make the difference between the Caribbean Zouk and the Brazilian Zouk. So we have like a big transition, and we still a lot of things to deciding to creating a better methodology, and a lot of things like still discussing. And now in 2014, Cadu and Larissa, one of the instructors, international instructors too, with other from the old generation, did like kind of a council, the Brazilian Zouk Council, where the idea is to educate people about the history, like the different ramifications because Brazil is very big. So things that happen in the north of Brazil is not the same in the center, not the same in the south, and there we go. So we have this difference and everything. So some places is stronger than other, and that's what happened. So in this transition, we have the lambada was a dance, pretty much dancing on the clubs. So we went to the nightclubs, and people was dancing, and then have someone that already danced and teach you how to to move into the beat. We didn't have much of like that. I can say the methodology of teaching everything. So or you learn or you don't, pretty much like that. So what happened the dance and the music was start kind of stop playing on the nightclubs, but with because of a radio frequency, it started like a Zouk songs playing in Brazil, and people say you can still doing dance lambada into those songs. So that's when like some of the name Zouk lambada started because it was pretty much the Zouk song dancing lambada. And then people will start doing this, and people start dancing after with the change of the music, like Keisha, put a little bit of the R&B, more slow songs. Some the people was like, okay, we need to try to how to create like this a dance for those songs, and how to involve the the with the lambada and everything to to create something that people can learn. So some teachers use the Brazilian ballroom, like a bolero, the gafieira, forró, a little bit of salsa, a little bit of every dance, and pretty much create the base of Zouk. And a lot of elements, the biggest influence was the lambada, the elements like from lambada. And then we have elements from other dances, like some people, some other places, like especially from Rio, the Agilio and Renata, they use a lot of influence from contemporary and ballet to give the lines and everything to the dance. A lot of the things dancing lines from salsa, the bolero, samba, a lot of things. So start fusing all this together and teaching, find a way to a methodology to teach people how to dance. So was more. So we have this, I can say a line, a guideline that was like the lambada, and then it came the Zouk, and then they start going. And nowadays, the lambada and the Zouk, they are two different dances. A lot of people think Zouk lambada is the same thing. Zouk lambada is kind of, when I was talking with someone that was from the lambada scene, is like the Zouk lambada is pretty much was a commercial name that people start using because Zouk was starting growing and the lambada wasn't that strong. They use, but they dance lambada, and the Brazilian Zouk was a name that people started. Okay, let's put Brazilian name to people, know the difference between the Zouk, Caribbean Zouk, and the Brazilian Zouk. Because if you go in the ghetto in Paris, for example, and say I dance Zouk. But like for example, me, I go there like I dance Zouk, and I start dancing actually Brazilian Zouk. They're gonna look at me like,
What is
what?
that?
That's not Zouk.
Yeah.
And so that's like what we say. So like, and have a lot of these discussions still nowadays. Like, Brazilian Zouk doesn't exist. It's just a name, and
Mm,
it's still in like a we still building that identity, and that's what more and more reinforcing this idea of the Brazilian Zouk is that dance that we have our basics. We have the basics that we establish, and then like we have like a follow the music in a way, and depends how you follow your dance. Like the way you follow the music on lambada, the way you follow the music in zouk is completely different. You can dance the same music, but depends where you step on the time. You
mm.
dance to two different songs, and that's like I can dance like for example it's very zouk give a lot of variety because I can do many things from using elements from different dances. Like I can dance like using the elements from zouk with the time of lambada,
Yeah.
for example, and vice versa. So and that's the thing. So zouk is very rich in this way because we can do many things, and zouk like is a dance that kind of collects a little bit like from each style
Mm.
and put together pretty much.
It's crazy because for me, since I dance urban kizomba, we had the same discussion, in the
Mm.
kizomba scene, what is urban? Can it be called kizomba? And also because a lot of urban kizomba dancers comes from other styles. So we put
Mm-hmm.
in, some people put in tango, some people put in hip hop, and so I guess it's the same discussion in every style that starts developing. The head,
Yeah.
the famous Brazilian Zouk wave with the hair, the with the neck and everything, is that from lambada, or where do you think
Yes, like
the head
yeah,
comes
that's
from?
like a come from like a lot of the things of the movements of lambada that they have, and the movements from lambada, they like go from back to the history that I even need to read through. I don't remember by head because we have like a dance thing like the machixe. There are a lot of things that I already have some things that the followers have a lot of lose these things of with the head. But even though if you go back and we talk about like the contemporary dances in contemporary we have expansions, we have contractions, we have this idea of the breathing and the relaxations and the head rolls and everything. So a
Yeah.
lot of things come with the idea of the contemporary too. And a lot of the things, like you said, like with the head movements, that's the thing. In Zouk, we move the head, but actually, it's a movement that comes from our chest and not the neck. So the neck is
Mm,
it's a passive motion. It's not like an active motion. That's
yeah.
when a lot of people from different styles we have that discussion. Like you can have the same movement, but depends how you execute that movement. It's
Wow.
different.
Yeah.
So
That's a very good point. It's more of a like the head is just like the consequence of the
yes,
chest
exactly,
movement. Whereas a
exactly.
lot of people, including myself, have been like, I don't think that this style is for me because I'm not
Yeah, and that's the
flexible.
thing. Yeah, that's a lot of thing. Like that's even a discussion we are having with some teachers this Friday. There's this idea of people look at Zouk and sometimes they see that it's not accessible because they're like, that's gonna hurt
Yeah.
or that's not for me. That's for that. But it's just like I guess sometimes misinformation
Yeah.
the people because a lot of people see like you said like the zouk the image of zouk is all these spins the heads and
Mm,
everything but until we get there we have a foundation that is
mm,
very big on our feet. We
mm,
have a lot footwork like people think like it just our foundation in zouk is very extensive. It's like we have like the variations and everything until we get to the head movement. It's like the head movement. We just add
yeah.
that movement on the top of the footwork that we do. But a lot of people jump straight away into like the head movement,
Yeah.
and that's when like you start getting like sometimes people say like it's hard, it's not for me, or
Yeah.
all these like no, it's for you. Like you just need to do classes, but of course with professional. And I say to people, make sure you like when you go to a university or going to study something you always look like for the best university because you want to get the best information from there. Like with dancing, should be the same.
Mm.
Uh, a lot of people like we have a lot of. Sometimes I say like it seems like we have more teachers than students. You
Yeah.
know, like it's everybody's a teacher, everybody's like and we have like wow, it's so many teachers that I almost don't need a job because everybody do the same as I do. So it's like make sure it's just go with someone that it's have a background that is study and is still studying because I guess as a professional we should never and we're never going to stop learning and we should
Mm.
always when we get that point no I already know everything that's
Mm.
like in my personal opinion is like okay when you think you know everything is when you stop learning a long time ago
This
so
is when you need to
because
go back to studying when you
yeah,
think you know.
exactly. Yeah, because every the dance is evolving. The dance is
Yeah.
evolving every day, and most of the dance is evolving because of the music. Because the music industry is changing a lot. Like every style of song, it's like what was 10 years ago, 5 years ago, is not what it is right now.
Mm.
The if you go like research people like the for example, I play sometimes with people that song from Rihanna, no, White Thoughts. I said you're never gonna know what that songs really are. That song is like a Maria. If you don't know that song, it's because you come from this like a more young generation, but like it's a different thing. Like the R&B is from the 90s. It's not the R&B that like it's not the same as what it is right now.
No.
The hip hop from the is not the same what it is right now. And
Nope.
with that, the dance changed. The industry changed. And that's good the same in the pioneer dance and Latin scene with the Zouk especially. So all this is evolving. So if I'm not in track because we're dancing to the music, if we stop doing that, we get stuck, and that's when we need to keep studying and like looking for like keep like yourself up to date all
Mm.
the time.
What do you think, or what are you wishing for when it comes to the future of Brazilian Zouk? Both your own dance, but also the style in itself. What are your hopes and dreams for your Brazilian Zouk and the scene?
I really hope that people give it like a everybody have the a little taste of it,
Mm.
but like a good one. Like I mean that people don't go by what they see, go more by what they feel. But for they feel, they need to try. And I say a lot of people. One thing that I learned is people we tend to say things that I don't like this for two reasons. One, or we don't understand, or we suck at it. So that's the thing. Like, maybe because I'm bad in that thing, I say I don't like it. But maybe put the effort and you're gonna get a little bit good and you're gonna start like it. And maybe you don't like because you don't understand. So even you have the right, maybe after you try and you do and you say, no, that's not for me. I don't like it. That's good. But that doesn't mean you need to still respecting that thing, that dance style. It's like I say to people, because this dance is the best. This is the best. I said, no. Dancing is the best. What? Which style? Dancing. Doesn't matter which style you like, which your preference, because this go for your personal thing. But I hope that people see Zouk as more. My idea is like bring Zouk to as many people as possible.
Mm.
It's like a people really feel. I really like one thing that like it's involving, but never forget the roots. That's for me like one of the biggest things. Like we're gonna still evolving and evolve, but always maintaining the roots of the dance, especially the dance always can evolve, but on the top of that root. It's like a tree. The tree grows and evolves on the top of their roots. If
Mm.
that root is strong, you go taller, you go many directions. But if that root starts getting weak, any wind, it drop it and falls. And that's what happened on the Zouk. Like sometimes it goes and people forget a little bit of the roots and then we decline again and we go up and we decline. And because people see it as such a hard dance, and we can say it's a little bit harder than some dance styles, but that doesn't mean that is not for you or it's impossible. That means you need a little bit more discipline
Mm.
and you need more commitment and that's all. So if you have commitment, you can do it. So my really goal is that people, as many people as possible, can experience what is Zouk, and that keep evolving but never forgetting the roots. And that's my biggest goal for me as well.
I can remember when I started dancing kizomba, and suddenly you could start seeing a little kizomba floor appearing in salsa festivals, and it was like salsa big room, bachata big room, the little room in the back, that's the kizomba room, and like it
Mm-hmm.
was always tiny, and it was always just one couple teaching, and then from there it grew and grew and grew, and now Kizomba don't have to be in salsa festivals anymore because they have their own festivals. Do you personally wish that Brazilian souk also would be like that, a part of other Latin festivals, or do you prefer it to be on its own?
That's the thing. Is like a big discussion about that. Like, I like the moodful style because I love Zouk. Zouk's my life. But I like to go sometimes to refresh in another room, give a try, experience, get ideas. Because when I see other stars and see people doing like I might be able to find a way to put that into my dance.
Yeah.
You know, because people, it's like I said, people need to stop being like this. It's not like about you. It's like what? Okay, go there, and even if you don't want to do that dance, at least go learn it properly, and then make the fusion. Don't try copy and say I don't like that dance, but you always. That's one of the things that bother me a lot to say is hearing people like I don't like that dance style, but you keep copying the movements from there all the time. So and but you don't do the classes, you don't try the right thing, but you copy and you say that you hate it. And like like that for me is like you're not. I cannot see what you want. So I
Mm,
need to like I like this idea of multiple the events, but I think would be nice to be fair to every style.
exactly.
Like maybe one night everybody have the big room, or every night or maybe of course I know and I realistic salsa and bachata world it's a way bigger than the zouk. So of course, maybe gonna have the small room for us. But a lot of the times, there's one thing that we're talking is the Zouk artists. Sometimes we go to a Latin event, and after we do the class or the show, we're pretty much excluded. Like nobody talk with us, nobody see us, nobody do not. And after they see the show or the class or the demo of the class, then people start, oh, hey, what's up? Hey, and that's fine because people, like they need to see it to have the approval.
Mm,
But and that's the goal. Like I think, like for us in the Zouk scene, a lot of times go like we have like biggest, very big events just for Zouk. One of is especially like in Amsterdam in Breda, the Dutch Zouk Congress is one of the biggest one as well. Uh, it's nice because it's all about Zouk and everything. But I personally, I like a little bit like that mix because I think we can contribute a lot together to
mm,
the dance scene. Like. But that's the thing. I think people, they everybody need to get into the same page and accept. Like I always have a lot of fun in those events. Like sometimes it's of course not fair. One room closed first than the other,
mm,
but it's all right. I understand, like in the business perspective for the organizers too.
yeah.
But it's something that I like it, the fusion, because like I said, for me, I like to dance a little bit like no, even like I'm not like since like was that the experience in salsa, I never keep studying, but I like sometimes give a go and just go there for have fun with maybe someone dance with someone that I know because they know like I'm a zouk dancer and I'm not a salsa dancer, so and I like to have that go try and feel that for me inspiring me and I like it. I don't
Yeah,
know.
because you are now in a group in Madrid called Grupo Estras?
See,
Eses?
no, the group Essential, it's from Mark and Sarah,
Esencia. Mm,
and they are doing like now even like this some formations here and everything, and always then they like want to do like some videos and things like this. Like I have the pleasure to participate with them, and that's when I learn a little bit more. about it. And even now, currently, they are doing a formation because they are not traveling because of the pandemic as much, and they are doing like being able to do a formation here in Madrid. But yeah, so but they're pretty much is like I'm part that they are the, pretty much the big stars like in the bachata. And for me, like I said, like I'm learning a lot about like even like I had some discussions like with Sarah like how he I asked her about the bachata scene and how she see the zouk scene from the outside, and I give my same opinion, and it it helps a lot. And one of the good things like that being with Sarah, and now because with the whole my process with like moving here, was dancing with Layssa, then we need to stop dancing together. So I don't have a dance partner. And to be clear, Sarah is not my dance partner. She is my life partner. She's
Mm.
my partner for life. And she's helped me as a big help, and I have a very like a big like a pleasure to have her here to help me in some classes that I need to do, some workshops. And she loved dancing too. Like she loved to dance and learn everything. And I dance with her. This helped a lot for the Zouk scene because a lot of people from the bachata and the Latin scene saw in her, oh, Sari is doing Zouk now.
Yeah.
So I might try too.
Yeah.
So this help a lot of to bring. So that's one of the say like I like this idea of have mix
Yeah.
because a lot of sometimes people or even some other professionals are so full on with their work with their job that they don't have the opportunity to try.
Mm.
And maybe all what you need is that one try,
Yeah.
and that's like a that's the thing like that my mentor that I mentioned in the beginning, he told me like for me, and that's something that I never forget. He said, look, on the dance world there exist only two hard steps, like which one? The first one, start dancing. It's open the door and start dancing. The second one is be patient to learn,
Mm.
because a lot of people they like they don't want to dance because a lot of people, how many people say, I don't want to dance, why you don't do dance classes? No, because I don't know how to dance. And I'm like that's why you should do dance lessons,
Yeah.
so you learn how to dance.
Yeah.
But a lot of people have this idea, no, because I don't know how to dance, I don't do dance classes. I'm like, that's why. And I might say, look, thanks to you, I have a job.
Yeah.
People like you, I have a job. So you need to go. So a lot of the times what we need is get like a how create opportunity to people try
Yeah.
and go. And that's the most important is respect. Respect the dance, respect the scenario as the not the Zouk saying like no because Zouk's the best or the bachata is the bachata the best or something. No, no, it's like we're all here to dance.
Yeah.
We can contribute or we can separate.
Mm.
We all the dances can have their own events by themselves. It's great, but I still believe that if we can bring more people together,
Yeah.
and from there we can bring even more people together, and every like the whole scenario can win with that.
For sure. And especially, I mean, since we in urban scene dance on ghetto Zouk music, like I can definitely see Kizomba
Yeah,
and
and that's one that's one thing like I love a lot. Like some people say, look, I want to put like I get a Zouk song or a Zouk song, and a lot of people, and then I put sometimes I put like some Nelson Freitas or something, and people look at me like, oh, so we're gonna like so this is Kizomba. I said, no, no, no. You can dance Kizomba to it as you can dance Brazilian Zouk to it, but
Yeah.
the music is Zouk.
Yeah.
So it's like a lot of like I said, like a lot of people have the lack of the knowledge, like of to knowing things. Like for example, I don't dance Kizomba, but I learn a little bit of it because the Zouk, even though that this Brazilian Zouk have nothing to do pretty much with the Kizomba, but it's somehow we cross there. I want to know. So I learned like a two. I want to learn everything because in the at the end, every dance has somehow a reference or a influence or something from other dance.
Yeah.
some way or another. I don't know. Especially because we are talking about body. You know, we talk about body mechanics. We're talking about physiology, and
Yeah.
the body is one. You can move your body in many different ways, but your body is one. And somehow, the way your posture works, the way your spine gonna work, is the way the dance needs to go. So some dance is gonna overuse, some dance is gonna not focus that much, but everything is there. So uh, everything can complement each other. You know?
Yeah, and especially also because Kizomba comes from Angola and the Portuguese as well is so present, you know. So
Yeah,
it's interesting to see like the world we're in right now and where the roots comes from and like where are we gonna go in the future. There's only
yeah,
possibilities, and it's so
yeah.
exciting to be in this time where we're globalization mixing and matching and coming up with new patterns, even though, as you
Hmm.
say, we have the same body still.
Yeah,
So
exactly, exactly. And like there's one thing like in Brazil we used to dance a lot of like the kizomba songs or like the ghetto zouk, like especially like the kizomba because the Portuguese and as we can like okay we that have the same groove as because right now the beat from kizomba is very like when it's like kizomba is very different for what the kizomba what I'm talking about when I started dancing. That
mm,
was back 2007, 2010. The kizomba Brazilian Zouk still what the influence was still kind of you know to,
mm,
close by. You know,
mm,
nowadays like you can really distinguish that song like the music like I can say for myself like some music like kizomba my body don't want to dance zouk like because just like make want to be dance zouk but more like just body movements or more you know different it's
yeah.
like my body it asks something different from me than other you know the way a ghetto zouk song will ask me to go you know
Mm,
so all this is like depending. A lot of people say like, ah, what style do you dance of? Like depends on the song that is playing. You
yeah.
know, I don't know.
So it's funny because you are now, as you say, with a life partner that is also a teacher. So who is teaching the most? Are you teaching her Brazilian Zouk the most, or is she teaching you Kizomba and the other styles the most? Who's the teacher now?
The true the reality is like I'm teaching her the most. Like actually like she do more. Uh, we didn't have like maybe much time for like I do the exchange. Like she's helped me on the classes here in Madrid. So and like pretty much for me, as I don't have a dance partner, and I like sometimes I need to go and I teach more each like her in the way of Zouk than everything, and like a lot of things that I was as like talking to her because she have like a lot of like pain in the neck.
Something I was saying, like the way maybe you are doing looks nice, it's good, but you can do the same effect preventing your body from that much stress.
Mm,
Because in Zouk, like we try, like we have a little bit more this idea of the feeling, the sensation. And for me, especially, I have like a minor fracture on my spine, so I need like I went to like to university, I did physical education, and my idea was always like, okay, I cannot think about when I'm teaching what my dance partner that is like she has like a ballerina what she can do. I need to think about what my 80 years old student, my 20 years old student, my engineer, my lawyer, my doctors, whatever student I'm gonna have can do it,
mm,
because that's my students. And that's like even like one topic that I was talking with Sarah one day, because she was doing a bachata class in urban dance school, and people got a lot of faster, like they got like even though they got like the sequence a little bit faster. And the thing is, a lot of the times on the urban dance is like people that dancers that take classes, like you go like a dancers that take classes and do classes, so it's like always full on. And most of the times in the Latin scene, it's not dancers that take classes. Are the lawyers, are the engineers, are the doctors, are the people that have the normal job and they start doing the dance.
mm,
Like not doing as generate like putting in everybody in the same thing, but most of our students are those, those people. So my idea was always how, and that's the thing, like how you to prevent. So a lot of things from the Zouk, for example, movements that we used to do 10 years, 5 years ago, we don't do anymore, or we do in a different way because was causing a lot of accidents. People was having injuries and everything. And you're like, why that was happening? Why this is happening? So why more people having this? So how we can prevent that and still having the same in this? So that's one thing, like more and more now people are getting more interesting to study about the anatomy, the biomechanics and things like this, so they can really, teach in a better way. Because a lot of the times we dance and we know what our body do and that's it, but we don't really know how the body works, so, and that's one thing that is helping a lot. But yeah, like I have some opportunity, like for example, when you have like the videos, and sometimes I have like I'm here like when Sarah do like her classes of bachata. Ladies, some of the classes I took myself, and I learned some of the choreographies that she did, because for me it was like I said, on Zouk we don't have that much freedom, and especially like my arms, I don't move that much, and you have like do things with your arms that like and I want to try to implement that into the Zouk and into my dance, into the males too, how we can do something when we are not using the arms, for not just drop the arms or just hold, do something. And that's what I like when I'm learning. So it's kind of, I can say I teach her a little bit more in a way, but it's like a balance, like I take advantage of everything. So as I'm with her, and even like Lady Stein on everything, I absorb a lot of information. And even though a lot of the times I ask her, but why you do this way? Because we have something that is similar when we do that way. So, and it's the idea like a baby, because of what the intention of the movement, what is the expression of the movement, everything changed. So that's what I say to everybody, like sometimes you're gonna see two dances that looks the same but feels completely different. And that's a lot of people, that's why I say to people, you need to try the real thing before you take your conclusion, because you say, that's like these movements we have in bachata, we have in Zouk, or we have in whatever dance too. But yeah, maybe it looks the same, but the idea of the movement, the expression of the movement is different. The way you express. So a lot of the times, one thing I ask like a Sarah, when I was doing some of the body movements with her on Zouk, she always tried to create that bigger movement. And I'm like, but why? I'm trying to lead you a small one. Why you want to do big? Because in bachata, usually she always look for expand the movement. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, so that makes sense now. A lot of things that I see and I feel when I was dancing bachata, and I felt like I couldn't control, or even the fall, or maybe what fall, felt that I was blocking. Because it's different on Zouk, like we have small, medium, big. And when we're in the close embrace, if I go small, it's for a reason. You don't want to expand more than that. So, and this is like a different, but that doesn't mean that it is going off lead. It's like we works for each style because that's the way it goes. So a lot of the times people say, bachata is going to be easy for you because you just put like your, I said, no. I can do my things. I can implementate, but I don't want to dance Zouk into bachata song. If I want to dance bachata, I want to dance bachata. And not because I dance Zouk, I start doing Zouk movements there and just put the footwork of bachata. I want to do the basics, the good things about the basics with the bachata. And if I can implement one or another of the Zouk, good. So, and that's the thing I say to people, like, it's nice to have this, but let's learn. So for me, like, I take like sometimes with Sarah, I said, I don't want to learn movement. I just want to learn the basics, the foundations, and all this. Why happened this? Why you can do that? So I can understand. And because, sometimes I have students that come from bachata or whatever, something like that. And this dance with Sarah helped me a lot when I see and I feel something and I say, this now you are used to that. And it's even like it helps me on my teaching, on my dancing too, because we always go, everybody has a different body, so I cannot lead for as a leader. I cannot lead the same way everybody. I cannot think the way I lead is the way you should follow. No, no, no. I need to adjust and adapt to every single follower that I'm dancing with, and that's go the way around too. So, and this go about the body type, maybe the way everything changed. So I need to learn how to read, how to feel that, and where that person maybe comes from. So nowadays I can maybe feel like if the person comes from a Latin background or urban background or maybe like a ballet background, for that posture, for that position, or for their reaction, and that helped me a lot as a dancer and as well as a teacher too.
Mm. Wow, I feel like we have so much more to talk about when it comes to all of these styles and dancing in
Yes.
general. And unfortunately, 1 hour goes so fast.
Yeah.
So I am so thankful that you came on this podcast and talk with me. And in
Yeah.
the end of my podcast, I always do something called fill in the blanks,
Okay.
where I ask you one question and you can only answer with one word or maximum an end of a sentence. All
Bah.
right, are you ready?
Not sure, but let's go. Let's go. Let's do it.
All right. So, if I could describe Brazilian Zouk in one word, it would be.
Oh, that's gonna be like a cheesy or whatever, but like, it would be for me life.
Woo! I like that. That's a nice one. Okay. When I am teaching my students, I always want them to.
Bring out of the best of them.
Nice. When I am on stage, I want my audience to feel.
What I feel.
Ooh. When I am, when I have the best feeling in myself is when I,
Give the best feeling to the others.
nice. One country that I would love to visit one day is,
That I would have been or that I never been.
that you've never been, maybe.
It's many, but I would say a continent in general, but Africa.
Hmm. Being a newly father to a dog has taught me.
Patient.
I can hear him in the background
Yes.
squeezing. All right. And last question. If you could make everyone in the world try this one time, it would be.
In a dance word, I mean, that's a deep one, huh? uh, you're gonna everybody try one. I don't know. That's I would say, like I said, like my dream, right? Try Brazilian Zouk. I don't know. I
I
would say
love that.
for that. Like I said, my first answer, like I see as life, I maybe would try give the way in a double meaning, how trying Zouk can maybe bring the best out of you as a person. But I mean, not as like a. I don't say as a Zouk. The Zouk is the thing. This like the tool that I choose in the dance world to pass to people that. I think as in the dance world, we all do that through dancing, independent of the dance style. Brazilian Zouk is the one that I chose to do that. So I would say Brazilian Zouk.
Oh, that's lovely. So everyone out there, try Brazilian Zouk at least one time. I know that I will, you
Yes.
definitely convinced me that I can try
Yeah.
it, and I should give it
Yeah.
a try.
Relax. Relax. You until you get into the head movements, it will take a while. You want to
Yes.
learn a lot like from the like on the footwork, body movements. The head should be the last. So no worries.
All right. Well, I love that. Okay, so for the people out there who want to know more about you or what you're doing, your upcoming projects, where can we find you?
It's all pretty much. I'm sharing everything mostly mainly on my Instagram. Art like it just like art with th s Santos, and also I have like a website that one good friend Nadia, she's a web designer, she built that one for me, where I have like some of my basic information and where you can contact me. Some of my online courses too. That is the website is www.arthur.santos.com. So there you can find the information, and also there I have like little gifts I say to people in Spanish or Portuguese and in English. It's a PDF with over 30 pages with like some tips of the Brazilian Zouk. So we talk about music, we talk about basic step, head movements. So it's like a fun group that I had on WhatsApp where people from Brazil ask me questions and I reply them. So then after a year of that, I pretty much decide to create a PDF and share with that information so more people can have access. So if you want to check it out, just go there and you can download it for free.
Awesome. We will link everything in the description below. And I want to say thank you so much, Arthur, for
My
coming onto the
pleasure. Thank you for the
podcast.
opportunity.
I can't wait to see you in real life one day in one festival.
Yes.
Hopefully get to learn
Please.
some steps from you.
Of course. Thank you very much.
Don't forget to click subscribe, comment below, and give us a rating or review. We have a Facebook page, YouTube page, and we are on Spotify, Google Podcasts, iTunes, and all the other podcast platforms. We also have an Instagram, so don't forget to tag us in your favorite episode and share it with the world, because we read all of it.